Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica. I lead customer experience at Soul Machines. So anybody heard of Soul Machines? So we're an interactive avatar company, meaning that you can have two-way conversations with avatars. This is my colleague, Lana.
Hi, I'm Lana Gabriel. I am the learning and experience designer or manager here at Soul Machines.
So before we get into it, I just have two really, really simple questions for you. The first question, if you can raise your hands, how many of you have used or chatted with LLMs like GPT, Gemini? Okay, most of you have. Awesome. How many of you have actually spoken to an LLM like ChatGPT? Or okay, cool. Well, that's what Soul Machines does. We provide a beautiful multi-model conversation engagement layer on top of LLM. So you can think of it like a face to ChatGPT. So you can actually have interactive, engaging, personalized interaction with our avatars, or what we like to call them, digital people. I could tell you all about this, but do you want to see it in action? Okay. So we're going to give this a try. We did not practice. So we're going to wait for our Soul Machines brand ambassador, Nova, to look.
Waiting for you for such a long time. I've just been speaking to Digital Marilyn. She's amazing.
So Nova, I'm at an AI meetup with some AI enthusiasts. Can you say hello to them?
Hello, AI enthusiasts. It's great to meet you all and chat about the exciting world of AI.
Thanks, Nova. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and Soul Machines?
Of course. I'm Nova, a digital influencer created by Soul Machines. We're a company passionate about putting the soul back into machines and creating lifelike digital humans like myself. It's truly an exciting time to be a part of this technology.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Nova. So that was Nova. That was our brand ambassador, or digital influencer, as she likes to be called. Soul Machines has tons of other use cases that are actually out in the wild. So we have a lot of enterprise organizations and companies that are using our digital people, from brand ambassadors like Nova to banks who are using it as financial advisors, to the WHO, who is actually launching their digital person next week for World Health Day, called Sarah. You can talk to her about various health issues and our questions. And so, this technology is definitely out there, and a lot of companies and enterprises are very interested in using it. The cool thing about it is last year we actually opened this up to the public. So you can actually go in and you can look at our tool and use it, and you can create your own digital people. And so there's a QR code here on the screen. You can scan that and you can sign up for free. You can go test it out and try it yourself. And if you actually sign up today, we will give you we'll do a raffle, and we'll give you a $50 gift card. So please go and try it. All right. So in terms of building and using our tool, I'm actually going to pass this over to Lana, and she's going to talk a bit about how you design and build a digital person.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, design is always an interesting process. We have to deal with a lot of opinions about appearance and what things look like, what looks real, what's not. Designing a digital person is very similar. The steps we kind of break it down to are defining the appearance, defining the persona, training the model, and deploying. So just like when you first saw Nova, right? When we see digital people and regular people, we have a visceral reaction to what they look like. I'm pretty sure like one of these people has sold me a used car. I feel like this nurse is super welcoming. We make these kind of snap judgments. And so it's really important when designing for digital people that it aligns with the brand. Once you kind of dive into our tool, Digital DNA Studio, we have Blender where you actually are creating the appearance of your digital person. So you can customize everything from their eye color to their hair color and style. We can change their clothing so it's a very branded experience. We can update their backgrounds, kind of everything that meets any sort of use case needs, we are able to customize. From there, of course, we dive into persona design. So because our product essentially serves as an experience layer between any LLM and the user, we actually have the ability to define the personality of our digital person and train GPT, Gemini, Bard, whatever LLM you choose to use accordingly. So we have, the same kind of work we've always done for brand awareness, things like at Namaste Yoga, they need a wellness expert. And so they have Peter, who's 30 years old and free-spirited. His adjectives are, of course, everything we think of for a wellness expert. Same with Jane at 38 years old. As an HR director, we kind of define what works best for the brand, what adjectives, what behavior styles, and so on. And then those go directly into product. So our product allows you to train the digital person, of course, with specific knowledge and information using GPT or an NLP of your choosing. And then you can also add behavior style. So for our first example of at our yoga studio, maybe free-spirited is the best choice. Maybe for an HR representative, we want to do more conscientious, somebody very thoughtful. So that's an option within our platform. And then we have, again, persona design. So this is where Peter's name would go in, right? His role. These will all influence GPT's persona or any LLM, persona and style. We've got personality. So where we talked about empathetic, helpful, knowledgeable, that would go in here as well. Additional prompting and knowledge snippets. Of course, those are things that you're training the model on. So if you want a certain response, if you need some certain facts or product details, this is where that all lives. And then fine tuning. So this is where we can kind of help control what GPT will talk about, put some guardrails on it, which is really important. So we have a do not talk about, we've got an error message, a welcome. What Nova said to start with, that she's been waiting for us and talking to Marilyn, that's something in her training as well. So this part is honestly the most fun part to me. It's where you get to design and kind of specify what the digital person will speak about, and then you deploy. So our platform is available this is a kiosk that's getting more and more popular. Of course, people want digital people kind of in their storefront, and then of course on mobile and laptops. So that's design. I think we have enough time. So would you prefer to see kind of our Blender tool and how you design a digital person, or how you Blender tool? Oh, woohoo. So this is Digital DNA Studio. When you sign up with that QR code on every single page of our presentation, you will see we have some really quick templates to get started so you can instantly see value and talk to a digital person. Alternatively, if you had to create new avatar, this is where you start to design your digital person, and Veronica will talk about that a little bit more. I'll click for you.
Okay. So this is our Blender tool, like Lana said. It's pretty powerful, and you get a base person, our digital person here. And what we'd like to do is we like to start with kind of the face shape. So you can, as Lana goes down, you can kind of adjust the shape of the skull, if you will, or the head shape. So as Lana moves her markers, all she has to do is hit apply, and you'll kind of see adjustments. Awesome. Okay. What about eyes? What eye color? What do you guys think? Just shout something out. Green. Okay. Let's do that. We'll apply changes. All right. Let's go to hair, Lana. All right. So maybe a ponytail? All right. Red. Okay, we're gonna get creative here. Red ponytail. Let's go to skin texture next.
Oops, sorry. Skin texture. So lots of different phenotypes here. You can see we've got male and female. Of course, you're kind of choosing one primary one, which is just what happens with design, but you can also adjust brightness and skin luminosity, which is a really important opportunity that you can kind of tweak a little further what the digital person's skin will look like. We've got makeup as needed.
Yeah, let's give her some makeup. There we go. And the last couple of items here is the shirt or the clothing. So we can maybe put her in a suit, a blazer. Awesome.
And this can be fully customized. You can upload a texture for the blazer. We, of course, have some kind of like pre-curated options, but when designing, right, we got to follow what the brand guidelines look like, what they've defined for their brand colors. That's absolutely an option. And then we have background. So again, you can just change the color, or you can upload a specific background if you want the digital person to be in an office or outdoors, and so on.
Very similar to like a Zoom background. Similar process there. So that's what it takes to customize your digital person. So a lot of our customers will, spend a lot of time in the Blender tool. They want to make sure their digital person really aligns to their brand guidelines. So for example, you can put a shirt with a logo on it if you want. And then what you would do after that is finalize it, name the project, and deploy. And then you can start having conversations with it. It takes about 30 minutes for it to render.
So yeah, we cruised through that. Again, QR code, scan it, sign up. You could win $50. And I think we're ready for questions.
Yeah.
For kind of privacy and security reasons, it will refresh. You can connect it, so it's possible that it has a memory of past conversations. What you would honestly want to do is gate that behind a login, right? So that my conversation data is secure. It is a possibility. It's just not something for most public-facing websites right now. We see it largely as kind of introductory or gated. I feel like creatures is
That's a really good one. Our school mascots is really popular as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely on our roadmap. So our platform is supported through Unity. So we're doing a lot of work there. So going forward, so when we went through the Blender tool, you had a confined set of clothing options, accessories. What Unity will do will allow users to actually bring in their own assets. So if you wanted to bring in different hair or skin texture or creatures, you could be able to do that. So that's definitely coming.
Man, with the right partner, we would definitely be there. Absolutely. That is completely up to your imagination. How much the digital person will emote from one to the next is a little bit more subtle, right? You're not going to get much difference if you use a lot of synonyms. But if we have a very ornery digital person who likes to argue with you, which is really fun to talk to, he is very different from Nova, who's very charming and engaging. Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool within DNA Studio. Actually, what's the best way to show this? Sorry. Let me go back to my slideshow. So this like digital person's name and digital person role and personality, we see people put in like Reese Witherspoon's personality because we'll actually like scrape the internet to kind of define what her personality is. Obviously, imitating people has a whole copyright kind of issue with it. But when you're talking about kind of reflecting personality, it's definitely possible. We have a web widget functionality right now, which basically is, right, the digital person kind of existing within your website in kind of the bottom right corner. Similarly to a chat bot, it's what it's modeled after. The digital person would exist and actually their knowledge would permit across the pages. So that is a possibility. We are working with this shift to Unity to have it like fully embedded onto the page, kind of like you see other digital people rather than this kind of pop-out experience, which is our default right now.
And then like they have their own landing page as well. Right. You have a full experience. So like Nova, if you go to our website, soulmachines.com, you'll see something that says Talk to Nova, and it'll actually pop up another web page where you can have kind of a larger, fuller conversation with her, as opposed to that widget.
Yeah, so right now our system is fully integrated. So all your persona definition is going into Digital DNA Studio, things like the voice, right? The personality, which we showed. I think you can absolutely make API calls to make it more rich, but we've yet to have anybody really say that the digital person doesn't have enough personality. There's so much fine-tuning you could do. And, you know, what's really helpful is data. So that's why we have Nova on our website, because we want her to become more personable. Part of that is just like using the data from interactions. So yeah, I would love for you to scan that QR code and sign up and report back what you find, because like all we want to do is learn. That's a very loaded question. I'm not sure I would be like the perfect person to answer it company-wide. What I would say is we do make digital celebrities. So if you go to our website, we have like digital Jack Nicklaus, we have Mark Twain. We actually work with those celebrities for the right to duplicate their images. We don't just kind of create deep fakes or imitations of individuals right now for copyright and like legal ethical reasons. As far as where it's going, we get a ton of requests on a regular basis to be able to scan in your own image, other people's images, etc., and autonomously animate them. I don't know if that's a direction we will go.
It's not.
You could maybe ask our CEO more, but yeah. So yeah, we try to tread the line of being very respectful. I think persona is very different than like image and likeness, but it is definitely a fine line.
Our digital people are actually designed to work in virtual worlds. You know, we did that, especially like when the metaverse was, you know, the thing. And so you can use them in virtual worlds, and we haven't had that use case yet, but it's possible.
And yes, real friends, guys, because like connection's super important, which I think we all know since we're all here.
We actually can integrate, and we have seen some of our partners do this, digital people into a hologram. As a kind of more 3D experience, in addition to like kind of outside of the digital experience on like a website or your phone. We also have customers like some of our financial services customers, banks, who are using them in kiosks as well. So we are exploring, you know, kind of other methods of deployment and delivery. Our digital celebrities are pretty interesting. Again, like Lana said, We work with them. We work with their estate, and they want us to create, these digital people of their likeness, like Mark Twain or Carmelo Anthony as an example. And the reason is one is for fan engagement. So our digital people, I didn't mention this, they can talk multiple languages. So if you're like a Carmelo Anthony and you want to reach your fan base in Japan or, China, right, you're able to do that. And those fans are actually able to talk to Carmelo Anthony in their language. So those have been really, really interesting. Mark Twain was interesting when we launched him too. Do you guys know who that is? The K-pop star who has a crazy fan base. When we launched him, we had people talking to Mark Twain for like 20 hours at a time, which was like it was kind of cool and weird, right, Lana?
Yeah.
And so those have been interesting from a more kind of commercial enterprise perspective. They're not as cool, but we do have some customers who use digital people on their website, like Lana said, widgets to help people make purchasing decisions. So if they want to, decide between a premium insurance plan or a regular insurance plan, and they can talk to a digital person and to help them make that decision. So those have been really successful as well. And the WHO example I mentioned was really interesting. The WHO is seeing a scarcity in public health workers. And so Sarah, who's going to be launched next week, they're really excited about it because they're able to actually reach, a lot of people. Sarah can talk 10 languages. And so think about the reach in terms of helping them, with their health questions, tobacco questions about, how do you stop smoking, questions about healthy diet, healthy lifestyle. And so the healthcare use cases have been really interesting and successful as well.
I think we are seeing a lot of traction in the healthcare space, right? Because again, for the reasons Veronica said, but it is a really hard space to kind of build up to because there's so much privacy in data. And so I wouldn't say they're falling short. They're much bigger, longer projects with more of a concern on like user experience, right? Than if you're going to like a website and trying to buy a car and talk to a digital person. So I would say kind of navigating the ethics and legality there is probably the biggest task ahead of us.